best local SEO techniques of 2019. So we all know local SEO can be the life or death of a business. But then why do so many businesses just not keep up with the times? 1 year in SEO is basically a lifetime. What I'm going to go over today is what's new in 2019, what's stayed the same and as good as ever, and what's the future looking like. So I'm Kurt Hamill. I'm an online marketing consultant. I work out of Detroit, and you can find all my info down below, as well as all the links and stuff of what I talk about today, with more details like the tools and everything. That'll all be down below as well. So let's just dive right in. Yeah, we're talking about local SEO 2019 today. This vid, it's assuming you already have a website. That's just, if you haven't done that, go make that, pause it, come back. And then from there, what SEO is basically ranking higher on Google. That's primarily what we're talking about today. There are other forms of SEO like YouTube SEO, Amazon SEO, but I'm not going to be talking about that today. And a lot of these techniques that we do today, that's going to make you rank higher on Bing as well. So it's basically a twofer. But yeah, we're going to focus in on getting your business more traffic, more clients, more customers through ranking high on Google. And how do we do that? We're going to go over things like link building, and that's primarily local listings and citations. You know them, like Google My Business, Yelp, Bing Places, Facebook pages even. I'll go over that. If you don't know it, don't worry. We're going to talk about it. Beyond that, content, obviously, is so crucial to all this. Technical SEO still actually is more important than people give it credit for, as always. And then I'll go over to some of the great tools I use and that you can implement into your strategies. And then the future, including voice, where Google's going, mobility, and things like that. But let's just go over some examples of what we're targeting when we say SEO to start, just so you can get an idea in your head, right? Now, if someone types in, now this can be for anything. It doesn't have to be dentist. That's what I'm just showing on the screen. It doesn't have to be Detroit. This could be New York City pizza parlors. This could be anything. But for my example, I'm just showing Detroit dentists. Now at the top here, we have ads. That's not what we're talking about. The things we're talking about is what's called the local 3-pack. And now this shows up also when people are walking around town on phones, because that's how most of the stuff, and we'll talk about that later on, is happening these days. Most people are not searching on desktop. Sorry about that. They are searching on the go, on their phones, in beds, on the toilets, wherever. I don't even want to know. I don't want to think about where some people are searching from, and neither do you. So sorry for putting that in your head. But beyond that, this local 3-pack is so crucial these days. Now, traditionally, the local 3-pack kind of looks like this. There's different, depending on what you type in. So if you say Detroit dentist, it'll give you more of a broad spectrum around you, a little larger search bubble, I like to call them. Think of it as the radius or the circle around you. And then you're trying to rank higher in that. And then if you say something like instead pizza near me, it's going to give you a much closer radius. So this is like a mile right here, this little distance area. But now back here, so that's one thing we're ranking for, and I'll go into techniques about that, like using your Google My Business profiles and Yelp and other citations to rank higher on here, as well as reviews and things like that. But then also, there's traditional SEO places, like just ranking one of the top sites down here. People do still scroll, but look at this. The first things here, which we're about to dive right into, are your local listings and citations, and Yelp is one of the biggest one. So if you're a dentist and you are not on Yelp, what are you doing? It's one of the first things that come up. And just to show again, this one. So also on mobile, it'll be on the Google Maps. A lot of people are searching things for. But that's what we're targeting. We want to rank high in these sections, primarily in the local 3-pack, which looks like this or this, depending on if you're on Map View or on Google View, or the traditional placements. Now, that being said, what are the big local citations? Let's just dive right into that. First off, I call them the big 3. Google My Business, Yelp, Facebook. 2019, those are the 3 most important things for any local business. If you are not on any of those 3 platforms, if you don't have a Facebook page, if you're not controlling your Yelp account, your business is out there. Trust me, you got to go claim it. We'll go into that in a second. And same with Google My Business. You need to be managing these and optimizing them, because they are going to lead traffic. They're going to bring up sales for you, and they're going to get you more customers and clients. I promise. Now, first off, Google My Business. We all know Google My Business. Let me show you an example if you don't, though. So what does that look like? This is just a pizza place near me and brewery. They have some good beers. It's right here on the side here. You can see it. It's got the name of the place. Have your reviews, and that's so important. And that's the other thing I want to talk about, reviews, and we'll get to that later. But Google doesn't just take reviews from Google. They take it from other websites as well. Now, you can go edit this. We'll switch back. But that's what we're talking about when we say Google My Business. That's the stuff that comes up there, and on Google Maps. That's the info. And you want to make sure you're controlling that. Because people can ask you questions. People can do all sorts of stuff. You can make posts on Google My Business now, which are so good. I do a post, and it's just like people, I don't even know why. You can do ads on there, specials, all sorts of stuff. But they come up on the Google search, especially on mobile. It'll come up if someone looks up your restaurant, your business, or whatever. Even if you're like a lawyer, make a post once a week that just goes through a content piece. And we'll talk about content in a bit too. But Google My Business is the number one thing. I'm not saying this, but talking out of my ass, I would say it's almost as important as a website. It's right up there, honestly. Google My Business is so good, so important these days. Website number one, and we'll get to that in a bit. But Google My Business, it controls so much. You can put in the type of services, you can put in everything you sell. Google uses Google My Business to really understand your business better and give people more options. And you can answer to bad ratings and stuff like that, and we'll talk about that when we talk about ratings in a sec. And once again, there is the example of, and I want to show you more. And the people can ask questions and stuff. So for this bowling alley on Google My Business, they control their page, thankfully. It's free too. All these ones I'm talking about right now are free. That I should have mentioned right away. But my question is about how much games for shoes. And so they can tell you, you can get answers in there. You can answer people's questions. You can deal with reviews, which are so important and actually now affect your rankings. And that'll link to the website, direction you can call from here. Also, on mobile, it's even better. And so this is all being built for a mobile future, and you'll see that continuously being seen as we keep going through. But it brings in your reviews from elsewhere. It can show you popular times. And you get to post a little statement, which you can use and optimize that using SEO techniques we talk about later. Traditional keyword research, plugging in, put it in this little paragraph about. But that is what we're Google My Business. Number one for citation pages. Number two, not number two. We'll talk about though really quickly. Bing My Places. Don't forget, a lot of web traffic goes to Bing. Bing My Places is so easy to set up. You set it up and you can literally import your account directly from Google My Business. It'll copy it right over, images and everything. Boom, you're ready to go. People are always like, well, no one searches anything on Bing. You're right, no one searches. Some people do though, so be aware of that. A lot of people have their browser set to Bing, whether they like it or not. Older people. So think of, especially if you're an older person business, a lot of the time, be wary. But Bing powers other things like Yahoo. It powers a lot of third-party searches. It powers Amazon Alexa. A lot of the search data that when you're talking to Alexa on your little smart speaker or whatever, a lot of that data comes from Bing. So if you are not on Bing Places for Business, you're missing out on a lot of the future, which is Amazon is a big player now in search. People don't realize that anymore. But they have partnered up with Microsoft, and they use a ton of Bing data for the Amazon results, as well as their own, but there's a lot of stuff they don't have. And so the numero dos I want to talk about is Yelp. Dude, if you're a restaurant, so I looked up restaurants, downtown Detroit. I didn't even type in downtown Detroit, just downtown Detroit. This is so important. There's so many industries that are just on here, like Yelp. As you saw when I showed you those dentists even, it was the first thing that came up for dentists. Yelp can be so important to your business. I don't honestly like Yelp as a platform, but you have to use it. It's free. Also, they will try to berate you with buying things. You do not have to pay for things. You can get a good profile for free, getting those reviews in, making sure you have good reviews. But look at this. How much more traffic? These are the sponsored ones that come up first. Sorry, but people do scroll. And it still comes up. Number one is San Morello. They're going to click number one. but not a bad place for ads either. But we're talking about like this will drive so much traffic to your website, to your business. Local SEO for citations listing, Yelp is so important, even if you're not in the restaurant industry. Like you saw dentists, it was one of the first results on Google was the Yelp page for dentists near me. Make sure you're on there, and most likely your business is already on Yelp. You need to just go claim it. It's pretty easy. Beyond that, I don't even have Facebook on here. I should maybe. Here, I'll open it up really quick. You need to create a Facebook page. I know everyone hates Facebook. I hate Facebook right now. You don't have to use it that often, but just have an updated Facebook page with the correct information. And that's something I haven't talked about yet either. You need to make sure that every page you have out there for every listing and citation page, that you have the same correct information. Your website's correct, your phone number's the same, the email's the same, the hours are the same. Everything needs to be correct. And that's the worst part too. What if you're not claiming these pages, what if someone else does? You don't want someone to be messing around with your brand, especially locally. But yeah, Facebook, while technically a lot of people don't consider it a citation, I definitely do. It ranks high on Google. Your Facebook page will sometimes outrank your website if your website's poor. That's just a fact. Facebook pages for a lot of people, you don't have to be updating every day. You don't have to have a lot of likes, but it's important to have it. It's a good signal to Google that that is a legitimate business, that you also have a Facebook page. You also have that Facebook page. No one else makes it. Just a good connection to have. And once again, Google My Business, Yelp, Facebook page. You need those three. Have them all, get all the info in there, get all these photos, make sure all the info is the same. Then copy your Google My Business over to Bing Places for Business, because that's important as well. And now this one, LinkedIn, make a LinkedIn profile and everything. Yeah, that's great. We all know that. But there's also LinkedIn pages for your business. I would say LinkedIn is only important if you're a B2B business, and that's a business to business business. There's a lot of business. But like for me, I sell services to businesses. LinkedIn's actually very important to me. If you are a pizza restaurant, not as important. Do you know what I mean? If you're a dentist, not as important either. It's for people that sell services, for businesses that sell services to other businesses. That is where LinkedIn is so important as a site. Now, beyond that, there are niche listings. Let's say you're a lawyer. There's things called Avo, Justia, stuff like that. If you're a dentist, there's health grades. Same with doctors for health grades too. And remember, all this, Yelp is the number one for a lot of these categories, but these niche ones, people trust them as experts, and Google does as well. A lot of your health grades ratings, or Avo, no, not Avo as much anymore. They've used some other lawyer sites now. They pull the ratings from these websites and use them to grade you, and they put them on your Google My Business profile. So when someone looks up your business, these ratings will come up, and I'll talk about ratings in a second. But what that means is you have to care about these niche sub websites. Google does a lot. So whatever your niche is, if you're a flower person, like if you sell flowers, what do you call those? A florist, a flower person. Make sure you're on, if there's a florist website. If you're a co-working space, I recently helped, I work in a co-working space. Cool, empty right now, nighttime. I'm doing that, burning that midnight oil. But I had to help them get on. They weren't ranking well in the city against other co-working spaces. And I'm like, yo, you're not on the number one Google result, which is like a website that ranks co-working spaces. You need to get there. So help them get on there. And it was free. That's another thing. Almost all these platforms that rank are free. Google doesn't highly consider platforms that are pay to play. They don't rank them well because it's just not fair in their terms. So if you have to pay for it, it's most likely not necessary. Keep remembering that too. Lastly, there's local newspaper stuff. There's local niche ones. In Michigan, MLive, it's a group of newspapers in central Michigan, but it ranks for the whole entire state for Google. They have a business listing. I'm sure your local newspaper might have business listings too, or whatever state you're in. Find these local results. Go to the ranking factors, research like what ranks in your area, and get on these local listings especially. This is a big ranking factor for Google in Michigan is MLives. I know some people I have to tell them like, oh, you're not on MLive? Because if you actually look at the data, Google correlates them higher than almost every other. In Michigan, I'd call it the big four. It'd be Google My Business, Yelp, Facebook, and MLive. This is just a Michigan thing, obviously, but there's something similar in a lot of states. So find out what that is. And beyond that, local listings can also include things like your Chamber of Commerce business page. If you're paying money to them, you better be on their goddamn website, all right? I'm just saying, go yell at them. Make sure that website's up. Get those backlinks. And any business groups you're in, like marketing, advertising groups. If you're a lawyer, you'd be in association of other lawyers. On their websites, make sure they're getting a backlink to your website. It will drive up your ratings from Google, and it will help drive traffic as well. Now those are local citations. I'm going to do a full video on those in depth in like a week or two, but that's just basically what you need to do. And beyond that, there's other stuff. Here, I'll switch to my nice face really quick. Just kidding. There's all those people always ask me all these other times, does Twitter matter? Does Instagram matter? Only if you use them. Really, don't worry too much. They're not going to give you that much traction back to your Snapchat, Twitter, all that stuff. Only if you use them. Same with other stuff. Yellowpages, YouTube, Foursquare. If you're a restaurant, you better get on Foursquare. That's an important one, I'd honestly say. But then if you're service industry, stuff like Thumbtack, Upwork, Bark, and once again, I'll have this all listed down below. Clarity.fm. And then if you're trying to do content marketing, Reddit, Quora, Medium. Oh, and then another one for if you're a local person, Angie's List. That's a big one I almost forgot to mention. That's a good one too. Stuff like that. So really figure out what is ranking high. And the best way you can do that is Google like lawyers in my city or whatever your niche is. If it's a restaurant, like restaurants near me, see what those platforms are that are ranking high in the Google search. And go there and make sure you're on there. That's all I have to say. But those are local citations and listings. And those just help with what we call backlinks to your website and just traffic. People click through to your website. They will find out about your business through there. They're so important to the local scene. Sorry. But so many people ignore them. In 2019, I would say in the local SEO scene, they are the number one factor. Considering if you have a good website. If you don't, those big four especially, or the big three, Google My Business, Facebook, Yelp. Do it now. Why are you not? They're free. All right. It's free real estate. All right. Now, beyond that, reviews on these platforms. If you just make these and kind of forget about them, you come back later and you see you have 2 1-star reviews and 0 5-star reviews, no one's going to you. They're going to look at you and you look booty, trash. What that means, ask your customers for good reviews, the ones that you do good work for. If you don't do good work for, you probably don't deserve to be in business, so I don't know what to tell you. But you have clients that love you, customers that love you. After the next thing you do for them is say, hey, can you just leave me an honest review? Yeah, that's literally, it's easy as that. If you've done good work for someone, they're going to be so happy, or sold good product, or next time people come in. And food speaks for itself. Foodies review you. That you're going to get reviews no matter what. But still try to push the good people. Food reviews are harder than anything else. I've seen a lot of things out there, but you can't control food reviews as much as other things out. You either have good food or you don't. But other businesses, like let's say you're a service industry, like a lawyer or a dentist, or maybe you're a flower shop, just ask your customers and your clients to give you a good review. The ones that you like, just to remind them, hey, I could really use some Google reviews or some Yelp reviews or whatever it is, or Facebook reviews, whatever you need. They'd be happy to take the 2 seconds out of their day to give you a review. But yeah, those they have, that's a big thing that's changed in 2019 too. We have seen that Google has actually started to correlate your review score with your search engine rankings. It's just started minimally, but people can expect that to increase. Yep. All right. Now, next off that. Now, none of this matters, right, if you don't have content. And content on your website is so important because when people get to your website, if there's nothing good there, if it's a trash website, they're gonna jump off really quick, and you're gonna get negatively penalized for Google and rank lower. We're talking about content. If you're a pizza place, make sure you have. If you're a restaurant, make sure you have the menu on there. Make sure you have your hours on there. Make sure your phone, everything that people need, make sure it's on there. If you're like a local, let's say you're a lawyer though, if you're in a service industry, you need to be making new content all the time. Things change, times change. Google ranks for new, fresh stuff. Either have try a unique spin on stuff or fresh. And really just Google what's local near you. You gotta research, and I'll go over tools to do that later, but you need to research your competition. If you want to be the number one, let's say, lawyer in your area, see who the other lawyers are for your, let's say you do drunk driving defense, search that up near you. And look at what their content is. See what you have to beat, because that's who you have to beat with your content. You got to do better than they do. And then, of course, go back and update your current content. That is the easiest thing to do. And now what content does, and beyond just, and that's all written content, right, I'm talking about. But a more important thing that's really, really taking off right now in 2019 is video content. Let's, here, let me pull that up really quick. So, where are we at here? Oh no, there we go. So video content is so important right now for local SEO. Now obviously this is not local SEO, I just Googled something really quick, but you will see these 3-packs of videos now come up for a lot of topics. This is also something you can target, not as much for local SEO. It really doesn't factor in, but if you want to get any national recognition, this info box thing is a big thing in Google now. You should be targeting that if you're trying to get national coverage. But we're talking local SEO today, so we're going to ignore that. That's something I can talk about in another national SEO or international SEO or Mr. Worldwide SEO video. But even on a lot of local searches, we're starting to see more video pop up. I just needed something really quick to show you. It's called the video 3-pack. So if you can get your video going on YouTube, you be good. That's what I would recommend is YouTube, because you know who owns YouTube? Google owns YouTube. And so though there are rules with them, especially in the EU, against them rating YouTube's videos higher than other products, it just so happens that they'll write the fair rules, but YouTube will follow those rules to rank higher. But yeah, I would say content, and you can embed this stuff on your website too. So with video, I think that's one of the best ways to build a following. Like, it used to be podcasting a few years ago. I'd say do what you would have done with podcasting and develop that all on YouTube and create a YouTube channel. That is great content. It will drive traffic from YouTube, from Google results to your brand, especially if you're doing targeted research, which we'll talk about in a bit. It's the, I think, second largest search engine is YouTube. That means Google, YouTube, Amazon, Bing, or I don't know what's higher, YouTube or Amazon, but YouTube's huge. And it is owned by Google, so you want to be ranking on YouTube as well for content. Now, next up, we're talking about SEO, technical SEO. Now, you might think, Kurt, it's 2019. I'm using my Squarespace, blah, blah, blah. I threw up a website. Google's AI can understand exactly what my website is. It's 2019. It's not 2005 anymore where I can just spam keywords. You're right. You can't just spam shit as much anymore. But AI is not as smart as we give it credit for. It's so good. It's so good. But still, it needs so much help. That means getting the meta tags, the title tags, the header tags, they still matter so much. And I'll put a description of that technical SEO in another video too. We'll go to deep dive into technical. But that means making sure your robots.txt, if you're on WordPress, is working correctly. And I would really recommend that you're on a true dedicated website. It doesn't have to be WordPress, but Squarespace is fine, but you're not going to be doing great SEO on there. I'm just going to tell you that. Wix, just don't stay away from Wix. We're talking about technical right now. And that means sitemaps still matter. It's like, you'd think that Google can click through the links to my website, right? They can read it all. Sitemaps don't matter anymore, right? For some reason, on Google Search Console, which I'll go into in a bit, they still matter. Sitemaps, I'm not saying I know the reason. It's important. It just helps them track. You need to make sure your sitemaps are correct. They're up to date. They're linked properly. Schema. People kept talking about Schema for a while. It really helps. If you're typing in the correct Schema stuff, and that goes with all that other tags too. If you're following Schema protocol, typing that all in, you're going to be doing great. If you're labeling everything correctly, especially going after those keywords, going after those targeted wow, targeted topics. Can't speak. You're gonna rank higher. It's just the little things, but all those little things, they add up so much for you doing all these things in this technical SEO. And that's internal and external link building. We talked about some external link building with those local listings and citations. Those are a form of external link building back to your website. Another one is getting featured on other blogs in your industry. Get links back from other high-ranking sources. If you get links from them, that's a correlation between Google. Internal linking is still so important too. Make sure you have tons of internal linking on your page throughout, especially keyword tagged internal links. Like, that's still so important in 2019. Google there will be one day I promise, when we don't need to do all this dumb technical shit. The AI will be smart, but they're just not there yet. People think the AIs are gods. Not yet. Maybe one day. Maybe next year you'll see this video and I'll tell you it's all been thrown out the window. With that, sites, layers, talking about those linking things, two layers deep max is what I'm going to tell you. There's been so many studies I've read. People will have their website.com /this/category 1 /subcategory 18, and it goes down. It's like, no, 2 levels deep /category /page. That's it, max. I don't even do that far. I don't even go that deep, but you can go that. They've shown that that's fine. The Google AI it won't crawl past 2. It will sometimes if you're high ranking, but if you're a small business, it's not crawling that far. It's not going that deep. Even with the sitemaps, they have done studies. Make your website 2 deep, max. And then, of course, safety, security, SSL, and HTTPS. Why do I see websites that don't have these on there? You're taking in any user data or info. It needs to be secure. Google right now, they started penalizing. They weren't penalizing. You never know when they're turn on that off switch on you and start penalizing you majorly for not having that. Have that security. Just makes it safer for your customers too, and it makes them not scared to go on your website. Cache, baby. Yeah, make sure you have a cache plugin installed, or if you're on, however you're doing it, it just helps the website loads faster. Google Search Console tells you it's faster. If you do the Google test, they want you to use a cache plugin. They want things to load as fast as possible. While we're talking about that, just speed matters so much. That's like the #1 ranking factor. If you have a slow website, get a new host, or you have poor website structure. One of the two. Easiest thing I always say is get a fast host and then worry about website structure. Honestly, I just see so many people optimizing their websites for these amazing structure, but they're just paying for like this bad web host. It's just never going to go fast. It's not a speedy connection. Oh yeah, and then another thing I just want to touch on, clear call to action. Sorry, I looked at it, I'm like, what is CTA? Central Transit Authority? Well, that's not it. I'm sorry. Clear call to action. This isn't SEO, but like if you're doing all this work for SEO, technical SEO too, to get someone to your website, doing the keyword research, making content, make sure you're creating amazing call to action and doing A/B testing on top of it. What's the point if you're not converting people for sales and clients? Do a good call to action. You got this. And then there's obviously image optimization. What's that? That's naming the files correctly. They're topical. That's using alt text. You want to using these keywords for that stuff. And compression. Make sure you're not using huge ass images a million times on your page, or it's gonna load slower. That's going to hurt the speed of your website. That's going to hurt your rankings on Google, and you're not going to get any traffic. So image optimization, there's so many tools out there to make those images the correct size, that they're loading fast. I even see some websites these days that just don't use that many images anymore. I think images still look good. I'm not criticizing those, but have them optimized properly. I think they can be great for SEO, for keywords and stuff like that. Images, if you can get images to rank, especially like let's talk about infographics and stuff like that, perfect. But that means having them in the correct format. When it's a JPEG, make sure it needs to be a JPEG. When it needs to be a PNG, make sure it's a PNG, stuff like that. File format is so important. Now, I'm going to go into, in another video, go into way more detail about some of the technical stuff, and I'll give you a technical run through. But I don't want this video to keep you here for your whole life. Beyond that, just remember the site structure we just talked about. Mobile friendly. Mobile first indexing is a thing now. So many sites are indexed first on a mobile 3G LTE platform. They don't care that you have gigabit internet at your house. Google doesn't care. They want to make sure that mobile user, which is the future, which is what everyone is searching from, has a fast connection to your website, or they will not rank you. That's just the end of the story. Speed is so important to Google. That's what you're saying. Compress those images. Less junk slowing down the speed. That might mean JavaScript. That might mean some CSS that you're slowing down stuff. Not normally CSS. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, use modern fast themes and just get rid of those slow stuff. Test different stuff. See if there's plugins that are slowing down your website. Other stuff like that. Make sure you are tracking with Google Analytics on your website. Pixel, like Facebook Pixel. Add that to your website. This isn't always for SEO, but you can see what's going wrong sometimes too and optimize things for that. And Reddit Pixel is a thing now too. Make sure you have all this tracking going on your website. They give you so much free data, these companies, for you to use. Obviously, they're making money off it too. It's not a free valley for them or anything like that. But make sure you're putting Google Analytics on your website. Beyond that, and with that, do some A/B testing. See what keywords are working out. See what website structure is working out. This will make more people stay on your page. This will help with search engine optimization. This will help you rank more. Do A/B testing. It's not that hard. But to do all that, you need to have tracking and analytics all set up. Cool. And then obviously that all leads into a nice conversion funnel to make you more money, get you more clients, get you more customers. All right. And now that all brings us to the very start. At the end, of course, we had to wrap it all up. Keyword research. Why do people make content without researching what they're doing? They're like, I'm just gonna make a piece on anything, for my blog. No, do some research. See what people are looking up. See what your competition's posting. See what ranks. It's a business. If you're doing something for fun, just a fun blog, that's different. But I assume you're here because you want to get more money, more clients, more customers. Do some keyword research, right? What does that mean? And so I'm going to go over some tools just now, how to do that keyword research, right? Here we go. And keywords are basically when people type things into Google, Google associates, like if we type in, if you're a dentist, you better have dentist on your website a few times. Here we go. Oh. All right. Number one, to learn some keywords, Google. If you open up like a private tab, now this isn't exact. They still kind of understand who you are, but it helps a little bit. Let's say I wanted florist. How do you spell florist? Oh God, not like floor, of course. So we can look at what are some florists near me. So we florist in Detroit, florist near me. Florist shop is one, but none of these are great. But this is kind of how I start out a lot. So if I'm doing a lawyer, let's say I was doing a drunk driving. Look at this, drunk driving Michigan, accident statistics, facts, deaths. So I can make some content around this stuff. If I was a DUI lawyer, probably not do a mad one. But if I did lawyer, accident lawyer, you can just tag this stuff a little better. Affordable drunk driving lawyer, that would be something I would use to tag. And now, this isn't how I do my full research. This is an idea stage. I would be like, DUI map, Michigan. Oh, these are things I researched. I was recently, sorry, those are the top ones. There's things I've researched for a client. Not me. I hate to say it. I am not that horrible person. I would never do something like that. But that's how I get my ideas, right? And from there, this is tracking, right? We want to go. We want to go into Google Keyword Planner. It's Google's free tool. Now, Google Keyword Planner, I honestly don't mind it at all, right? We can enter in. So we look at affordable drunk driving attorney. Wow, I just spelled that so wrong. I am dyslexic, if you didn't know. Fun fact, it's hard for me to spell because I have dyslexia. But now that we kind of have an idea, right, we go in here, and it's a great tool. And we'll go into more detail about this, but you can get so much stuff. You can see the average monthly searches. You can see how much people look things up. Google Keyword Planner is so good. It is free. People don't. You can change the area I have United States on right now. You could do your own country, your own state, your own city to see what comes up for stuff. After that, make sure what we were talking about earlier, putting that Google Analytics tracking, putting that Facebook Pixel tracking, see where the actual analytics are coming from. Look at everything. You got to look at those numbers behind everything. If something's not ranking well, get rid of it or change it. Your pages, what's your worst page, you know? This is, once again, free. This is Google Analytics. You can put this on any website. Now, we're talking about keyword research still. SEMRush, amazing, one of my favorites. I would really, it shows so many different things. Like it gives you. Can I do it here? There we go. Yeah. Well, they want you to log in, but it gives you domain, SEO, keyword analytics. I don't know if it'll come up with my searches, but anyways, SEMRush, great tool. Ahrefs, I don't use it anymore, but also a great tool. Definitely in all these, what I just used, SEMRush, you can do a free trial. Ahrefs 7-day trial for $7. Try them out, see if you like them. For most of you though, really just doing the simple Google Analytics, Google Keyword Planner. And another great one is Google Trends. You can see what's coming, what's going. So if you did drunk driving attorney, you looked it up, right? Google Trends is another great tool. You can see what other similar stuff related. But not so much for this one. But it's another great tool is Google Trends. Beyond that, there's Moz. So Moz has a ton of good info. Get started with Moz Pro, blah, blah, blah. And so first you can do the listing score, which you can check in here. It's free. Look at it. It'll help you with a lot of those listings. Kind of outdated in my opinion, unless they've updated it recently. I wouldn't trust it. It's kind of a good thing. It's not always accurate, but it's a good. It'll tell you about those listings I was talking about at the beginning. Good checker. Now Moz Pro is one of the best. Their Keyword Explorer is amazing. If you're trying to get keyword ideas, Moz is great. Moz is top of the engine. Lastly, there's Google Search Console, which will literally tell you. It's like for so long Google hated SEO, and then finally they were like, we're just gonna give they made a Search Console even better. They give you so much insights and everything. It literally helps you improve. It's like the king told you how to kiss up to him in the best way. You know what I mean? It really helps you optimize everything. It gives you great tips, gives you great insights. If you're doing SEO, you need to be using Search Console to look at everything. And then some more keyword ideas. Answer the Public will give you, some stuff. It gives you these weird question wheels and stuff, but it'll give you some good ideas. Once again, idea generating. Dude, I got fast internet here too. Here we go. Will, where. These are... But impaired driving lawyer, attorney for drunk driving, stuff like that. It'll give you a lot of different stuff you can look at here. It's just an idea generator, really. These are the things you use for idea generators, and you want to go into the keyword planner and really look at the actual numbers, right? Competition's an important one, and average monthly searches. You kind of want to look at both. And then BuzzSumo, also a great tool. I'll just shout it out really quick. I don't really use BuzzSumo, but I know a lot of people do. Just analyze what content performs best for any topic or competitor in case you can't read what's on my screen. But yeah, these are some of my favorite tools that I use, and you really should be using at least all the Google tool sets. Those are so important. They help out with everything. They're the bare bones. And then going above and beyond and paying for some other things. You really don't need it, but they are just easier to use sometimes than the Google tools. And once again, all this being said, let's get that face back in there to you. This all goes along with other strategies. So this goes along with your content strategies, your pay-per-click strategies, your social media strategies, your real-life strategies, everything else you're doing. SEO is just, it like boosts. It's a boosting effect. It's not magic. It's not fucking snake oil. It's hard work. We just went over all this. And this was just an overview, right? But that's pretty much it. It is hard work. It's grindy. So I'm curious, what are your favorite tools for SEO? If you want to post those in the bottom, and thank you for watching all this too. If you want to give me a like or subscribe, I love it. I produce content all the time on here. If you have any questions too, feel free to hit me up. All my info's in the doobly-doo down below, and so is all the links to everything we kind of talked about today. So thanks for sticking with me. I'm Kurt Hamill again. You can find me pretty much anywhere, and especially if you're in Detroit, come say hi. All right, thanks guys. Take a good day.